welcome to the official YouTube channel of SRN International School. I am Ayushi Bhargav, Faculty of Sociology at SRN International School. And today I would be talking about sample paper. Let's discuss it. Let's begin with the general instruction, students. Paper will be of 80 marks and it will be of duration 3 hours. The question paper is divided into 4 sections. You will have 4 different sections in the paper. Overall, there will be 35 questions and all of the questions will be compulsory, students. In between the questions, you definitely will get options. Section A will have question number 1 to 16 and these will be objective type questions, like there will be true or false, match the following, fill in the blanks, correct the statements. These kind of questions will be there in your exam. Section B will have students 17 to 25 number questions. They will be very short answer type and you need to answer the question in not more than 30 words. Please take care of the limit, students. You need to answer the question according to the word limit specified in the general instructions. And these questions will be carrying 2 marks each. Talking about section 3 will have questions from 26 to 32 and they will be short answer type questions carrying 4 marks each. Each question will have 4 marks and these questions should not exceed 80 words limit, students. It is very important for you to take care of the limit of the words specified in the questions. And question number 26 and 27 will be case study type questions carrying 4 marks each and they will be objective type questions. Alright, students. Talking about section D will have questions from 33 to 35 and these will be very long answer type questions carrying 6 marks each question, student. An answer to these questions should not exceed 200 words each. Question number 35 is to be answered with the help of the passage given. There will be this one unseen passage and 2 questions will be there. One question will have 2 marks and the second question will have 4 marks. This will be the division of the question number 35. Students, make sure that you take care of the word limit very well. Now, let's start with the paper. Section A, students. First question says, demo plus graphene means. The answer of this question will be either of the 4 options given. First is description of people, second is description of living, third is description of life, fourth is description of food. So the correct answer of this question is description of people. And if you mark it right, you will get 1 mark. Second question, student. Which sociologist proposed the concept of dominant caste? Now, there are 4 sociologists given. You have to give the correct sociologist name who is associated, who gave the concept of dominant caste. Now, the 4 options are M.N. Srinivas, Radhakrishnan, G.S. Khurib, Radha Kamal Mukherjee. The correct answer of this question is M.N. Srinivas. M.N. Srinivas was the sociologist who proposed the concept of dominant caste. Third question is social identity is based on. Now you need to give the answer. The concept social identity is based on which characteristic? The answer is birth. Social identity is based on birth. If you write the correct answer, you will be given with 1 mark. Proceeding further, students. Now question number 4. What was British colonialism dependent on? 4 options are socialism, capitalism, capitalism and socialism, capitalism and humanism. Now you need to give the correct answer. The correct answer to this is capitalism. British colonialism, when they started, they were dependent on capitalism. Now, coming to question number 5th. When was the population policy of India announced? Now, in these kind of questions, similar kind of options will be given to you, students. So you have to remember the years very well of the specific policy, of the articles, of the amendments. So you have to be very particular about it. So the answer to this is 1952. If you give the correct answer, you will be provided with number 1. Now, question number 6. Which of the following opposed Sati system? Now, there were different samajas that were formed for Sati system and against the Sati system. Now, the samaj that was formed to oppose the Sati system, you have to answer that. Now, the options are Arya Samaj, Brahma Samaj, Jain Samaj, Arya Samaj and Brahma Samaj. Now, the correct answer to this is Brahma Samaj. Brahma Samaj started opposing the Sati system. Now, talking of the question number 7. What is the main source of livelihood in villages? Now, students, you make sure that you read the question very carefully. It is very important for you to understand the question, because in multiple choice questions, the options that are given to you are quite similar to each other. So make sure that you read the question very carefully and then answer accordingly. Now, the options given are agriculture and cattle rearing, agriculture and industry, agriculture and cottage industry. The right answer to this question is agriculture. Only agriculture was the main source of livelihood in villages, student. Coming to question number 8, students. India ranks dash in world population. What should be the answer? As we all know that China ranks first in world population and India ranks. So the correct answer will be second. Second will be the correct answer. Talking about 9th question. Khasi society is dominated by males. You have to correct the statement. So students, you have to take care that what is the particular word that you need to change to correct the statements. Now what students usually do, they either change the name of the society or they changed this. So you have to make sure that what is the particular word that you need to change, because the correct answer will only be one. So the correct answer of this 9th question is Khasi society is dominated by females. It is dominated by females. Now talking about question number 10th. The dash of Kerala also aim at dash. So the correct answer is, you have to mention the city name or the state name. Dash also aim at what process? So now in this, the correct answer will be the Thiyya of Kerala, THIYA of Kerala also aim at westernization. The correct term would be westernization. Am I clear, students? Westernization. If you fill both of these things rightly, then only you will be given the full marks. Now, in this you have been given a choice. The basis of caste is, now in this you can do either one of them. Now, in 10th you have to fill 2 statements and in each one of the statement consists of half mark, students, and there is a option as well. You can either do the dash of Kerala also aim at dash, or the basis of caste is, the correct answer to this is birth. Make sure that you only do one question out of the 2 questions in which the choice is given. Okay, now coming to 11th question. Which field is known as the job of the time? Make sure you read the question very well. The correct answer to this question is IT. The correct answer is IT. Now, which articles are related to the minority? Now, there are different articles. You make sure that you read the articles very well. You learn them by heart. So now, make sure you read what is asked in the question. Now in this, minorities is asked. So in this, the correct answer to this question is A. 29 and 30 article talk about the rights, the welfare, the privileges given to the minorities. Am I clear, students? Let's move forward. Talking now, in this 12th question you have been given the option as well. Now, the option is, we blame for social inequality and exclusion. 4 options that are given are, they do not have merit, they do not work to improve the situation, they are not intelligent, and all of the above. So what do you think? We blame social equality and exclusion for what all reasons? Now the correct answer to this question is all of the above. All of the above is the right answer. Talking of question number 13, students, state true or false. Now, westernization has promoted generation gap in India. Is it true or not? Yes, it is true. Westernization has definitely promoted generation gap in India. Again, there is an option in question number 13. You have to do either one of them. So with or we have question, the persons with disability pass the protection of equal opportunity rights and full participation act 1995. It is true. The person with disability passed the protection of equal opportunity rights and full participation act in 1995 itself. Okay. Now, in August 15, 2005 speech, the Prime Minister of Japan dash apologized to the East Asian countries during the war. Now, in this question, students, you have to write the Prime Minister's name. Prime Minister of Japan. Who was the Prime Minister in 2005? So, he was Junichiro Koizumi. Junichiro Koizumi is the right answer. Now, in what are various ways by which people get employed? We are talking about question number 15. In this, by employment office, by advertisements, by contractors. Now, as we know, there are different ways by which people seek employment, by which they get employed. It can be either contractors, by advertisements, or by employment office. So, the correct answer would be all of the above. Okay. Now, talking about 16th question. Sometimes people prefer the city life due to some social reasons. Is it true or false? Exactly, it's true. People prefer the city life due to some social reasons. They want to be socially accepted, they want to enjoy their social life. So there may be some reasons because of which people prefer the city life. Am I clear, students? Starting with section B, students. In section B, every question will be of 2 marks and you need to take care of the word limit. Word limit should not exceed 30 words. Talking about question number 17, that is, what is social demography? Students, social demography is the study of social, economic and political phenomena. It also deals with the question of population composition, its change and how they interact with different sociological variables at the individual and at the contextual level, students. Now, talking of the what is the main work of a manager, that is question number 18. In this, you can write any one point describing it. Now, suppose if you are writing that the main work of a manager is to have accomplished the department objectives. Now, you can explain it. So, accomplishing the department objectives by managing the staff, planning, evaluating the department activities, with it defining the objectives, identifying and evaluating the trends in the opinions, and at the same point choosing a course of action and evaluating the outcomes is the main work of a manager. Now, apart from it, if you want to write any other main work of a manager, you can write that. Talking of the list, 2 characteristics of the caste, that is question number 19, students. In this, in your book, there are several characteristics mentioned about caste. You can write any 2 and make sure that you also describe them and the answer should not exceed 30 words. Now, list 2 characteristics of caste I would be discussing. First one, that is the segmental division. Now, when we talk of segmental division, we say that caste is divided into further subcaste and these further subcaste are divided into further subcaste. So, this is that caste have different segments and these segments are divided into further segments. Hence, known as segmental division of the caste. Now talking about its second characteristics is very important, students, that is the hierarchical division of the caste. Now when we talk of hierarchical division of caste, it is known as hierarchical division. Now in hierarchical division we divide the caste into four castes. The first one is the Brahmins. The Brahmins are the priests, the teachers and the preachers. The second position in the hierarchy is occupied by the Kshatriyas. They were warriors and the kings. Now the third position in the hierarchy is occupied by the Vaishyas, and Vaishyas were the merchants, the traders. The last position in the hierarchy is occupied by the Shudras. Shudras were the people who were known as untouchables, and it included peasants, servants and commoners. Apart from this, you can write any other two characteristics of the caste. Now, tribes were classified on which acquired characteristics. In this, you have to mention the characteristics. So now here it is means of livelihood, first one. Second one is limit of their exclusion in Hindu society. That is limit of their inclusion in Hindu society. I will be discussing question number 20th now. Inclusion is very important, students, for tribes. So it was one of the acquired characteristics. Yes. Now talking about question number 20th, that is, what do you understand from the Right to Information Act? Now it was the act that was given to provide the information to all. Now, the basic objective of the Right to Information Act in 2005 was to empower the citizens and to promote the transparency and accountability in the working of the government. It also helped in containing the corruption and making our democracy work for the people in true and real sense, students. So, Right of Information Act was very important, and it was passed in 2005, students. Now, what were the social impacts of Green Revolution? Very carefully you have to read the question, students. In this, you only have to mention the social impacts of Green Revolution. Now, social impacts of Green Revolution were profit to specific areas and regions. There were a huge profit for the farmers. Now, self-reliance in production of food grains. Farmers started becoming self-reliant when it came to production of food grains. Third, that it promoted economic disparity. You can write any two. Am I clear, students? Yes. Now, talking about question number 2, that is state two criticisms of Sanskritization. Now, two criticisms of Sanskritization were exaggerate relocation in caste system. Caste system was relocated extravagantly, students. Now, talking about the second criticism, that was discrimination against women. There were a lot of discrimination present with women in times of Sanskritization. In question number 22, there are two choices given. You can do either one of them. Now, what are the disruptive forces? Disruptive forces are the forces that disrupt the balance of the society, that produces harm in the society, and it can be communal riots, ethnic social riots, racial riots, or demand for regional autonomy. You can write any of the two, students. Am I clear with the disruptive forces and Sanskritization, students? Let's start with question number 23, students. The appeal to protect tribal identity is increasing day by day. What does this statement convey to you? Now in this question, student, you have to read the statement very carefully, and then you need to understand what this particular statement is trying to convey. Now, as you can read that this statement talks of the tribal identity, and there is a sense that they need to protect it. Now, you can tell us what from what it should be protected, and why, what the idea is conveying, what they need to protect and from whom they need to protect and what they can do to protect it. So all of it you can write, and this will convey the meaning of the particular statement. Now the answer of the statement would be that the statement is conveying a desire to maintain one's own culture, and it is trying to protect it from the rise of middle class among the tribals. And how it can protect? It can protect itself, it can maintain its tribal identity by the process of reservation. So you should write these 3 points telling that this particular statement is conveying these 3 meanings for this particular statement. Now talking of question number 24. What is the reason for migration of laborers student? Now in this question you need to write any two reasons. You can write that there were lack of work opportunities, there were less wages for work, there were no social inequality, preference was given to other caste, preference was given to other class, there were no equal distribution of the work and the wages. Right. Now you can write any of the 2 points. Now talking of question number 25. In this there is a question that how can communalism be stopped? In this question you can write any of the 2 ways in which you can help in stopping the communalism. First one can be respecting all religion. There is no religion that is above, there is no religion that is below. All the religions are equal and one must respect all the religions. Second, you can stop communalism by awareness and by educating the people. As much as you aware the people, as much as there is education in the society, the communalism can be traced down. Third can be avoiding the aggressiveness. People get very offended and people get very aggressive when it comes to their community. So by being and by not spreading the aggression towards the community, communalism can be stopped. Now in this question number 25 there is a choice, you can do either one of them. Now for the question, in which session was the Congress announced the right to equality for women? You simply have to write the year, and it was in 1931 in which the Congress announced the right to equality for women. Am I clear, students? Let's proceed further. Starting with section C, students. Question number 26A. In this question, each question will have 4 marks and you have to take care of the word limit again. And in this question, in this section, there will be 4 unseen passages and in which there will be choice. So starting with 26, read the given passage and answer the question that follows the passage. The demographic dividend results from an increase in the proportion of workers relative to non-workers in the population. Be very careful of the students, of the terms that you read. You should be very well aware of what you are reading and how you are answering the question. Now, talking of in terms of age, the working population is roughly that between 15 and 64 years of age. This working age group must support itself as well as those outside this age group, that is, children and elderly people who are unable to work and are therefore dependents. Changes in the age structure due to the demographic transition lower the dependency ratio or the ratio of non-working age to working age population, thus creating the potential for generating growth. This is the passage that I have just read, and now you need to answer the following questions based on this passage, student. Make sure you read it twice so that you get a clear understanding of what is written in the passage. Let's proceed. Question number 1. What is demographic dividend? Now there are 4 options. You have to choose one of them. And this particular A part consists 1 mark. Working of young people, more than those who work for working population. Older people get the benefit of the work, now get benefits based on number. So the correct answer should be more than those who are working for working population. This is known as demographic dividend, that more than those who work for working population. Now the answer to B, that is, represents the growing number of working people. Fill in the blank. This fill in the blank has 1 mark. If you answer it correctly, you will get 1 mark. So the answer is population dividend. It represents the growing number of working people. The answer is population dividend. Talking about the third C part, that is, declining dependency ratio can become a source of economic property, true or false. In this question, you have to only state true and false. The answer is true, that declining dependency ratio can become a source of economic prosperity. Now this comes from the passage that we have just read. So you have to be very careful of what you are reading in the passage. Now, the category of dependent is covered by people below 15 years of age and above 64 years of age. True or false? Definitely it is. The answer is true, because the dependent is covered by people below 15 years of age and above 64 years of age. So we have completed passage number 1. Let's proceed further, students. Now, there will be, as I told you, that there will be a choice. We did 26A. Now we are going to start with 26 second part, that is 26B. Now, again, the passage is given and you have to answer the questions that are based on the passage. The regional pattern of low child sex ratio seems to support this argument. It is striking that the lowest child sex ratios are found in the prosperous regions of India. According to the Economic Survey 2018 and 19, the Maharashtra, Punjab, Haryana, Chandigarh, Delhi are having high per capita income, and the child sex ratio of these states is still low. So, the problem of selective abortions is not due to poverty or ignorance or lack of resources. Now, starting with the questions. In which state the female-male ratio is the lowest? Now, you make sure that you are reading the answer and what is asked in the question very carefully. So now the answer to this question is Haryana. Haryana has the lowest female-male ratio. Coming to second, in which state is the per capita income high? Now you read that per capita income is asked and high is asked. So the correct answer is Maharashtra. Maharashtra is the state which has the per capita income high. Now, the sex ratio to be the lowest in the most prosperous regions, we have just read it that it is true. So the answer is true. Now, sex ratio of dash is highest compared to the other state. The correct answer of this is Kerala. Kerala is the state which has the sex ratio highest as compared to the other state. Am I clear? Now this paragraph, this unseen passage was divided into 4 questions and each question contained 1 mark. So in all, if you answered all of them right, you will get the 4 marks. Let's proceed further, students. Starting with question number 27, again this is the passage and you need to answer the questions that are based on the passage. Now, castes are not only unequal to each other in ritual terms, but they are also supposed to be complementary and non-competing groups. In other words, each caste has its own place in the system which cannot be taken by any other caste. Since caste is also linked with occupation, the system functions as the social division of labor, except that in principle it allows no mobility. Now, what is not the characteristic of caste? Now, you have to read the question very carefully, student. It is asked, what is not the characteristic of caste? So first one is determined by birth, linked to occupation, strict rules of marriage, freedom to go to another caste at your own discretion. Now, the correct answer is freedom to go to another caste at your own discretion. Other three describe the characteristics of caste very well. Now, talking of the second question, caste were traditionally linked to occupation. As we have just read before in the passage that it is true. So in this passage there will be again 4 questions, each consisting of 4 marks, and if you correct do all of it you will get the 4 marks. Now caste is never a matter of, you have to fill in the blanks. So the correct answer is election. Caste is never a matter of election. It is not something that you get elected. So the answer is election. Let's proceed further, students. Now, there is again a choice in the question number 27. There will be 2 passages given. Now we will proceed with 27b. Again you have to read the passage and answer the questions that are based on the passage. Many tribal concentration regions and states have also been experiencing the problem of heavy in-migration of non-tribals in response to the pressures of development. This threatens to disrupt and overwhelm tribal communities and cultures, besides accelerating the process of exploitation of tribals. The industrial areas of Jharkhand, for example, have suffered a dilution of tribal share of population. But the most dramatic cases are probably in northeast. A state like Tripura had the tribal share of its population halved within a single decade, reducing them to a minority. Similar pressure is being felt by the Arunachal Pradesh. Let's proceed to the question, students. What was the main problem the tribes were facing? Large number of non-tribes of immigration, job problem, food problem, the problem of setting in cities. So the correct answer is large number of non-tribes of immigrations. We have just read in the passage. Again there will be 4 questions, objective type, 1 mark each. Now we are coming to question number B. The tribal population of which state has become a Christian by conversion to minority? Orissa, Mizoram, Tripura, Nagaland. The correct answer is Tripura. We just read that Tripura faced a minority and it was very well converted to minority and had become a Christian. Now coming to part C. In the name of tribal development, their land and their forest have been taken away from tribal societies. Yes, it is very well true. Coming to part D, large-scale desolation of forest areas has a profound impact on the livelihood of tribal communities. We have read this as well. So the correct answer is livelihood of tribal communities. Students, I hope the paper. Let's proceed with question number 28, students. Question number 28. What were the major issues of tribal conflict after independence? Now in this we have to discuss the major issues of tribal conflict after independence, students. Now in this question you are being given a choice with another question in which you have to do one of them. And in this section all the questions will have 4 marks each. Now the first one is, in this question you can write any 4 major issues. Now let's talk about the first one. First one is loss of control over natural resources. Before the coming of the British, the tribals enjoyed unhindered rights and management over natural resources like land, forest, wildlife, etc. But students, with the advent of industrialization in India and the founding of discovery of mineral and other resources in tribal inhabited areas, these pockets were thrown open to outsiders and state control replaced tribal control students. Talking of second major issue was displacement and rehabilitation students. After independence, the focus of the development process was in heavy industries in the core sector students. As a result, huge steel plants, power projects and large dams came up in the tribal inhabited areas. Acquisition of tribal land by the government for these projects led to large-scale displacement of the tribal population students. Talking of third, that is problems of health and nutrition. Because of economic backwardness and insecure livelihood, the tribals face health problems, such as prevalence of disease like malaria, tuberculosis, diarrhea, and jaundice students. Problems were also there related to malnutrition like iron deficiency and anemia. Talking of the last major issue of tribals that were existed after independence was erosion of identity students. Increasingly, the traditional institutions and laws of tribals are coming into conflict with modern institutions, which started creating apprehensions among the tribals about preserving their identity students. Now, these were the major issues of tribal conflict after independence. Let's talk about the next question. What does social exclusion mean and why is it involuntary students? Social exclusion refers to ways in which individuals are cut off from the full involvement in the wider society students. Now, social exclusion is a form of discrimination. It occurs students when people are wholly or partially excluded from participating in the economic, social and political life of their community students based on their belonging to a certain social class, category or group. Now, in India, students' social exclusion occurs on the basis of identities including class, caste, ethnicity, religion, gender, etc. Now, students, talking about why is it involuntary, it is very important for you to know. It is considered as involuntary because it is practiced regardless of the wishes of those who are excluded students. Now, those who are being excluded from the group, they are being excluded without their wish. It is not their wish to be excluded students. That is why it is considered as involuntary. Now, proceeding to the next question, students, what is a minority group and why do minorities need protection from the state? Now, students, as we all know that there are two groups, minority and majority. Now, minorities are the groups of the societies whose status have been declared majority in terms of cultural, religious and linguistic factors, students. Minorities are not very wealthy people. You take care of it. They are the ones who do not get the advantages like that of other major groups of the society. Hence, called minorities. Now, why do minorities need protection from the state? It is also very, very important. As we already discussed, that they are the groups whose status have been declared minority. Now they are disadvantaged in terms of the prejudice people carry about a certain group and consider them different from their own group students. They have a disadvantage that the majority community usually captures the political power. They need protection from state in this political matter so that their religious and cultural beliefs are not suppressed by the majority community. Students, it is very important for you to understand that majority community plays a very important role in having the resources and all the opportunities. They do not give any opportunities to minorities. Hence, minorities need protection from the state to have their own welfare, to have their own rights and protection from the state. Let's talk of the next question, students. How colonialism had an impact on our lives. Now you have to read the question very carefully. It is asked colonialism and how it has impacted our lives. Now students, the colonialism has affected our lives in all the aspects, whether it's culturally, politically or in any other area. Due to mobility and exposure to modern Western thoughts, people started thinking about freedom, liberty, human rights, which provided the basis for Indian freedom movement students. Colonialism also had significant social influences. Example, like Indian society, particularly the emerging middle class, was gradually changed. Their lifestyle, their eating habits, languages, clothing, everything drastically changed students. Political impact of colonialism on Indian society was significant. Our national movement, the political system, the parliament, and the legal system, including our constitution, education system, the traffic rules, by and large, the whole political structure changed to the colonialism students. Now, it also altered the way production and distribution of goods takes place. It not only changed the land ownership laws but also what crops would be grown and what ought not to. Colonialism also introduced the Forest Acts that changed the lives of the tribals and the pastoralist students. Very, very important for you to know. Make sure students you at least write 4 points describing all of them so that you get each 1 mark for the 4 points that you have written. Talking about the next question, that is, what were the major land reforms in independent India students? It is also one of the important, very, very important questions, students. Now, there were certain land reforms after independent India. Now, let's talk of each one of them one by one. Now, the first and important legislation was the abolition of the zamindari system, students, which removed the layer of intermediaries that stood between the cultivators and the state students. It proved most effective. It succeeded in taking away the superior rights of the zamindars over the land and weakening their economic and political power. Talking of the second major land reform was the Tenancy Abolition and Regulation Act, students. They attempted either to allow tenancy altogether or to regulate lands to give some security to the tenants. In most of the state, students, these laws were never implemented very effectively. The third major category of land reform laws were the Land Ceiling Act, students. These laws imposed an upper limit on the amount of land that can be owned by a particular family. However, ceiling varied from region to region, students. Fourth major reform that was informed in independent India was the agrarian structure, students. The agrarian structure, though it varies greatly across the India, and the progress of land reform has also been uneven across the states. Land reforms are necessary not only to boost agricultural growth but also to eradicate poverty in rural areas and bringing about social justice, students. So it is very important for us to know about the major land reforms in independent India, students. Now let's talk about what were the issues against which the leaders of Jharkhand were agitating. Now in this question, make sure you're taking care of the limit, word limit, while answering all of these questions. It is very, very important to take care of the limit while writing any of the answers to it. And make sure you attempt the questions in point rather than putting the answers in one paragraph. Make sure you explain them very well in the points. Now let's take the question number 32. The social movement for Jharkhand had a leader in Birsa Munda, an Adivasi who led a major uprising against the British, students. The issues against which the leaders of the movement in Jharkhand agitated were as follows. First movement was acquisition of land for large irrigation projects and firing ranges, students. Now they wanted to have the land for large irrigation projects and firing ranges, students. Second major issue that was faced were survey and settlement operations, which were held up, and camps closed down, etc. Students. Talking about the third issue, it was collection of loans, rent, and cooperative dues, which were resisted. Now, people wanted to collect the loans, rent, and cooperative dues, but they were resisted. Talking about the fourth major issue was nationalization of forest produce, which they boycotted. Now, some people in Jharkhand wanted the nationalization of forest produce, but the leaders of Jharkhand they boycotted it. They didn't want it. So these were the major issues against which the leaders of Jharkhand agitated students. Now, I hope that these questions are very clear and you know how to write the answers of these questions very well, students. Let's proceed further. Let's proceed with section D, students. Now, in section D, there will be three questions. In question number 33, you will be given two choices. And in this, you have to attempt any one of the questions. There will be three questions, each carrying 6 marks each student. Now, make sure you take care of the word limit very well. And let's start with question number 33. How would you distinguish prejudice from other kinds of opinions or beliefs, students? Now, in this, you make sure that you read the question properly, and in this question, you have to distinguish between prejudice and other kinds of opinions or beliefs. Now, prejudice refers to the prejudgment, that is, an opinion made in advance. Prejudice refers to pre-thought opinions or attitudes held by members of one group towards another students. Prejudice may be either positive or negative. A prejudiced person's pre-thought views are generally based on hearsay rather than on direct evidence. Very, very important, students. This word is generally used for negative prejudgments. Now, on the other hand, an opinion is a judgment about someone or something not necessarily based on fact and knowledge. It lacks proof and there is no proof for the opinions or the beliefs that a person has formed, students. Now, talking about the another question, that is, what are the common features of disability all over the world, students? Now, in this question, let's proceed. Common features of the public perception of disability are: disability is understood as a biological term. It is something that people consider it is by birth. Now, second feature is whenever a disabled person is confronted with problems, it is taken for granted that the problems originate from his or her impairment, students. The problems are not taken seriously, they are taken for granted. Third feature is disabled person is seen as a victim. They are not victim but they are perceived as a victim, students. Fourth feature would be disability is supposed to be linked with the disabled individual's self-perception, students. The very idea of disability suggests that they are in the need of help, but this is not true, students. Not everyone who is disabled needs help. Not everyone who is disabled is a victim. It depends on what and how impaired they are and what kind of help they are looking for, students. Let's proceed with question number 34. What does job recruitment takes place through the contractor system? Now, let's answer this. In the past, many workers got their jobs through contractors or jobbers. These contractors were also called as mistris and were themselves the workers. The contractor system is most visible in the hiring of casual labor for work on construction sites, backyards, and so on. Now, the contractor goes to villages and asks if people want work or not. They promise to loan them some money. This loan includes the cost of transportation of the work site as well. The contractors came from the same areas and communities as the workers. As they had the owner's support, they bossed over the workers too. The most common thing is that they very well know that from where they can have the people to work for them. Now, let's proceed to question number 35. Here, again, is the passage given and you need to answer the question that follows the passage. Now, this question number 35 is divided into two questions. First question consists of 2 marks and the second question consists of the 4 marks, students. Take care of the word limit that you are going to write in the exam. Now, students, it is not very necessary to exactly copy the answer from the book itself. You have to write the relevant answer and you can write it in your own language and in your own words. But make sure that it is relevant and it covers the word limit very well. Now let's read the passage. Social movements often arise with the aim of bringing about changes on a public issue, such as ensuring the right of the tribal population to use the forest or the right of displaced people to settlement and compensation. Think of other issues that social movements have taken up in the past and present. While social movements seek to bring in social change, counter movements sometimes arise in defense of status quo. Let's answer the first question. What is a counter movement? Students, there are two types of movement. That is, one is social movement, the other is counter movement. Now, counter movement means a social movement opposed to another social movement, students. Whenever one social movement starts up, another group starts a social movement to undermine the active group, students. For example, environmental issues, Rajaram Mohan Roy campaigns against Sati system. So basically, counter movement is another movement for any social movement. As we talked that social movements have an aim of bringing about changes on a public issue. Now, social movements have taken up in the past and present. While social movements seek to bring in social change, counter movements sometimes arise in the defense of status quo. Now, let's talk of the difference, another question explaining the difference between social change and social movement, students. Now, as we just read, that social movements often arise with the aim of bringing about changes on a public issue. Now, they also seek to bring in social change. Now, social change is continuous and ongoing process, whereas social movements are directed towards some specific goal, student. Social change indicates some total of countless individual and collective action gathered across time and space, whereas social movements involves long and continuous social effort and action by people, students. I hope it is clear to everyone. Students, I hope you all must have understood the paper. If you still have any doubts, please put it in the comment box. Thank you so much. If you find it useful, share, like, comment and do subscribe our channel.